Welcome all to ASMG's Set Pieces podcast, where we feature interviews with players and officials of member clubs of the United Premier Soccer League. Today we have a treat here. We have the leading scorer in Division One with Fountain City, Tristan Shytle. Great to have you with us. I'm really interested to learn a little bit about your backstory and how you got involved with the club and what you think about the season. But first of all, just kind of, well, first of all, how you doing?
I'm good, Andre. Thanks for having me out. It's awesome what you're going to do here, and yeah, I'm just excited to talk about it. I'm glad Fountain City is getting a little bit of a spotlight. I'm glad Division One's getting a spotlight because there's a lot of awesome stories, a lot of awesome teams. So again, thanks for having me out.
Great, great, man. Thanks for taking time to get with us here. And the first thing before we get into the some of the stories about this season, can we get a little bit of the backstory on you? How did you start playing the game, and how did you get involved at this level?
Well, parents were huge into sports, so played a little bit of everything growing up. I think soccer was something that I was always really good at from a young age. Started at 4 years old and just really loved it. And then, I guess at some point, when I was 12, I guess around that age, they asked me what I wanted to focus on, and at that point, I was just so invested in soccer, so focused on that, and played it for a very long time. Unfortunately, had a lot of injuries and just
Hmm.
a lot of different things that came up that cut that career short for a while. I just didn't know if I was really able to play anymore. It just kind of hurt all the time once I got to college and everything like that. Couldn't really finish a season after I was
Hmm.
like 15 years old. So, so for me, I thought I was done. I think once I was 19 years old, I thought I was pretty much done because couldn't really run. It seemed like every time in training, I would either tweak something, roll something, and really could just never get that consistent playing and practicing to continue to develop everything that I'd worked on since I was just a little kid. So I was in Atlanta, just working out like pretty much every ex-athlete does at that point, trying to focus that energy into a gym or something like that. And then I started to play pickup again after around 4 years of not playing, and did really well. Weirdly, it never left. I started
I was
playing
going to
with
say that.
guys.
I mean, 4 years is a big little chunk of
Yeah, it
time
was.
to
I,
be
I
out.
just thought to go and have some fun, really.
Yeah.
And while I was out there, I was in the heart of Atlanta, and playing against guys that were in UPSL and in ADASL, and I mean, quite frankly, just playing so freely and having so much fun, just a little new lease on life. And all of a sudden, I noticed it wasn't hurting anymore. And
Uh,
it was like 4 years, and the skill was still there. Obviously, it wasn't as refined and sharp, but I was just happy that it wasn't hurting. And I was honestly happy just playing at a high level and pick up against guys that, had their own histories of playing either professionally or in academies across the world, really. Um, but then I decided to move back to Columbus, my hometown, and
mhm.
really was kind of sad that I wasn't going to be able to play at that high level anymore because, in Columbus, the pickup culture is not like it is in Atlanta. It's just not. You're not going
Yeah.
to find as many people. It's not going to
Right.
be as
Yeah.
diverse when it comes to that regard of playing against people that have played all over the place. But then this came up, and weirdly enough, I was just playing an adult league for fun again,
Okay.
just trying to scratch that itch.
Yeah.
And the owners came up and reached out to me after they'd seen me play a couple games, and then I joined the team and just was blown away by the talent that we had put together already prior to me even stepping onto the field. And since then, we've added more, and
Yeah.
it's just been amazing. It has absolutely been everything that I wanted it to be when I was a young boy trying to play. And yeah, it's just awesome. I think the level of play is absolutely incredible. So
That's an interesting story too, because I did have a talk with Jose Perez, the owner and player for Fountain City there, and it's interesting that there was that recruitment process that went through, and it must have been very difficult, like you say, in Columbus. It's not Atlanta, so to find that diamond in the rough is probably a little bit more difficult. But they found you, brought you in, they saw the quality in the adult league there. But when you got to the club, I mean, how difficult, or maybe it wasn't difficult, was it to like, kind of mesh with the other players that were already there and coming in? How difficult was that, or was it even difficult?
um I would say it proposes its own challenges in general, right? Coming to a new team, playing with new guys, but I'm a big proponent in that if you're a good player, you like playing with other good players. And
Yeah.
so it really does make the transition process really, really smooth, right? When
Hmm.
you get to express yourself and do the things that you want to do on the field, and then equally can trust the players that you're playing with to do the same, um, it clicks really quickly. And I think that
Yeah.
that was something that happened. And then on top of that, from a personal aspect, right? I think people really undersell how important it is to like the people you play with, and I think that that's like so obvious, right? But like to
Yeah.
genuinely get along. I mean, these guys are my best friends along with my teammates, family. We're not just hanging out on the soccer field or sitting there only seeing each other at practices 2 hours a week or 2 hours in a day or
Hmm.
whatever, however many times a week that is. No, we're friends that hang out and genuinely care about each other and talk about life, not just soccer. So
Yeah.
to have that camaraderie along with the skill that goes along with it, it just makes it so easy. It really does. And it was in no time, it felt like they were my brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I got that sentiment from Jose as well. Is that there's not a lot of disunity at all in the club, and I think that makes a difference to where you are right now in the season. You guys are doing very well and consistently in the top two of Division One. There's an automatic promotion spot if you finish in first place, but there's also the playoffs for us. There are two teams that are going to come up at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the season. And so tell me a little bit about what that's like, the competitive, you've played in the adult leagues there in Columbus. How does that contrast with what you've seen in the UPSL so far? What's the competition like?
Well, for me, UPSL was awesome. It's what how would I want to word this? It's what I expected it to be. So, I mean, I skimmed over the background a little bit, but I played with a lot of academies in the National League when I was growing up, and then additionally, I'm part German, so I have family in Germany, and when I would
Okay.
go visit over there, I would play with academies. I mean, Hoffenheim, so they had an academy there, and
Yeah,
I would go
football
train with.
pedigree.
Yeah, I would go and train with them and play with them. So, exposure to that level has been there in the past, and I genuinely believe that when you get into the top tier of UPSL and you kind of just assess it for what it is, there's a lot of really good players. I mean, a lot of ex pros,
Hmm.
guys that are going to end up becoming pros, right? There's people undersell the talent that you're going to be playing against day in and day out, but it's there are a lot of good teams, and so when we came into this league, right, we we built this team, I think, at least from my knowledge of it, to compete with premier teams. That's all we played during preseason and off season. We held ourselves really well, even with limited training facilities and training practice time
Yeah.
and 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 limited time with our coach. And we did well and arguably could have won some games. We tied some, everyone's going to say, we could have won. But I think a lot of those teams will say, that we held ourselves really, really well for not even having played our first season. So for us, I think we respect every single team that we go against, and we know that they're going to be good. We know they're going to pose their own problems, but I think we also have this firm belief in what we did when we set this out, and we set it out as blatantly obvious as I can say it. We set out to get promoted and to start competing with the premier teams and to continue to grow the brand of Columbus soccer in and of itself, but also just this team, right? These guys are hungry. They want to play top talent. They want to go to the national tournament. They want to maybe play in those um, Open Cup qualifying matches, all those kind of things. Like there's really big aspirations, despite the fact that we're not in this huge market.
Yeah, I mean, you guys stand out. I mean, when you look at the competition in Division One, you do have a Atlanta Fire United. You got AFC Lightning, the very experienced academy type background to these clubs that have a lot of history. In the game in the area, you're starting fresh and new, and like you say, you've already been competing in friendlies against Premier Division teams and everything, and you can tell even if you don't actually just technically win a game, you can tell if you can compete by how that game goes about. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that you approaching this, so and Jose putting the team together the way he did, the leadership that you're providing, obviously now in the way that you're playing in an attacking way, I think that says a lot for, like you said, the ambitions of the team, but also the quality of the team. And so, what are some of your personal goals? Not only let's start like your personal goal for this season. We talked about, of course, you're playing for promotion, but what about you personally? Are you looking to move on to that professional realm at some point? Are you looking to help, Fountain City get to that pinnacle as high as they can in the Premier Division of hey there, little buddy. I got one of those too. He showed up in the last interview.
She wants
Uh,
her midday snack or something, so she just keeps bothering me.
I got the same thing here. But yeah, I mean, are you looking with Fountain City to get them to that next level and maybe on from there? I mean, what do you say about your personal goals?
Uh, I mean, I've had this discussion a few times, and coaches that have been a part of the team have discussed that with me as well. What do you want? What do you want to do? Do you want us to help you, move forward or whatever? And for me, of course, right? Everyone would say, yes, I would love to be a professional. And I'm not going to sit here and say anything differently. But for me, that's not my focus. It's just not, right? While, of course, I'm going to put the work in, trainings, my own personal trainings, playing, and everything like that. I'm perfectly content and happy with where I'm at. I
Yeah.
have a great job that I work during the day with a great team, a remote team for work, and then on top of that, I get to play at a high level with again what I consider some of my best friends, if not my very best friends, and we're playing at a high level, and the
Mhm.
chemistry's there and everything like that. I mean, something great would have to come along, and I'm not saying that it won't. I'm not saying that it will. Um, but personal goals, I mean, yeah, okay, let's talk about best case scenario. Yeah, I would love to go pro for sure.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Um, but really it's about playing well. We talked about the promotion aspect of it, and I just want to continue that, right? I want us to continue to play well, and two things, to happen at the same time, for me to play well and for our team to win, right? One of those things can happen, and I'm not going to necessarily be the happiest. Of course, I'm going to be happy if our team wins regardless, but I'm
Mhm.
also going to be hard on myself if I don't perform the way that I'm supposed to. I could play
Mhm.
great, and if we lose, I'm still not going to be happy. Those two things have to work hand in hand by nature, right? People are going to say, well, does that mean a lot of goals? Well, with the position that I'm in on the field, yeah, if I'm playing well, that probably is going to translate to more goals. But for me, I don't care.
Mhm.
I really don't. For me, the way I'm wired, yeah, it's going to be that I want to score, and I think that that's going to help the team because it probably should. But
Yeah.
I don't care if somebody else scores two or three, and that's how we win the game as long as I'm doing my part and playing well. So, yeah, for me, there's so many ways that it could go, personal goals, all that kind of stuff, aspirations. But for
Mhm.
me, this is just a second lease on life. Like I said when we first started, I didn't know that I was ever going to play again, really, at any kind of high level, especially with just my past with injuries and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
right now, I'm playing with house money. So we'll see where it goes from there.
I totally get it, man. Tristan, I can relate to what you're saying. I mean, when we started ASMG, and it's sort of the same thing. I've been asked, would you like to, be with Sky Sports or ESPN and go to, cover MLS and higher. And yeah, I'm the same way. It's like, well, yeah, but I'm happy at this level. And the reason why is that you see the emerging talent here. It's something, when you're watching the top tier, you see where they end up,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't see the journey. And I
Yeah,
think that that's a missing part of, particularly in the United States, of coverage. And I
yeah,
love seeing a story like yours, coming in, new team, leading scorer. I mean, just fantastic support from the fans. And it's a story in itself that needs to be told because it is an entertainment value even at this level. And
for sure.
I enjoy it. I enjoy being able to talk to you guys and learn about your background, how the club got started, what the players' backgrounds are, because that's what builds the future. Even if you don't go to the professional level, you're going to help somebody get there, or you're going to get there yourself. I mean,
I
there's so
firmly
many
believe
different
we have a
possibilities.
lot of talent that could do that. Whether like you said, whether it's me, whether it's guys that are younger than me that are coming up. I
Yeah.
do believe that. And to your point, like you said, I think people the entertainment value, right? People have been genuinely surprised at the level at which we play when they come out and watch us, right? You know, obviously not exactly how it is on TV, but close enough to where people are saying, you know what, this is genuinely like a valuable experience to me. It's worth the money that I pay to get in. It's worth the time that I'm spending to watch it. And that's huge, right? That's
Right.
huge. If you think about any team that's trying to start this, whether you're in Atlanta, whether you're in a small market, right? If you can provide an entertainment value, right, you continue to kind of get that momentum. Players get more exposure, the team gets more exposure. Everybody wins in that situation, right? You're providing something for people, and in addition, you're getting that provided. It's coming back to you in return, whether
Right.
it's just the experience that you get while you're playing, or whether it's future kind of personal benefits that you get from playing on a team that has been marketed well, which our owners do a phenomenal job, coached
Yeah,
well,
they
our coaches
that
do
they do.
great,
Yeah.
and then and then our teammates, right? Like, you know, I'm I'm telling you right now, I've played with great teams, I've played with bad teams, and if it wasn't for this team, I'm not sniffing the amount of goals that I have right now, nor am I going to get any of the goals that I would in the future. Like it's every time the level increases, you realize how much you rely on your teammates, and so they are phenomenal in all of this, and they deserve their roses just as much.
Yeah, there's so many different avenues to follow with your club with a league like this. There are a lot of fans. I talk about the top league, and everybody aspires to get to that top layer, whether they're a fan of a team or whatever. But there are some people that prefer, like, they love college sports, for instance. They get into the NCAA championships, and they love Georgia Bulldogs. They prefer that over NFL teams. So
Yeah.
there's entertainment there that's worth the attention of the supporters there. And one last question, related to that. I don't want to keep you all day because we can talk football all the time.
You're
But
good. I've got the time.
good deal. But that we talked a little bit about that fan support. What does that mean to you, that you do have that type of support at this level? I mean, you come out and you see, okay, you first get to the field, you got 30, 40 people there. You go in, you prepare, you come back out, 400 people right
Mhm.
there, first season, and that's
Yeah.
only going to grow. What does that mean to you as a player?
I for us, like, this is not a soccer community. Like, Columbus is not synonymous with a soccer community. It really isn't, right? And there's never been anybody, not to say that there's not a lot of fans, there is, but there's just never been anything like structurally that can take advantage of a market that, you know, doesn't have anything to cheer for, anyone to cheer for.
Right.
And so I think that, again, that's why it's so important to us as players, right? Like, we talk about promotion, right? And wanting to play at a high level, et cetera. But there's a lot to that. You feed off fans. You want fans, right? Even if it's for selfish reasons or not selfish reasons, right? You want to have that experience of having fans out there, right? And cheering you on. And then again, making their day, and
Yeah.
having a kid come up to you and tell you good game afterwards, or people come up, that's awesome. I got to experience that once already, and that's phenomenal. And I know other players have too. So that interaction, right? That's what makes it even more fun. We're already getting to do something that we love and play every single day, and kind of express ourselves to that means. But to have the fans and that connection, and to do all the marketing that we've done, and to go, whether it be, eat out at restaurants, with a Fountain City night, or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Just that personal relationship that we were talking about. So the reason that you're doing all of this, so that there's a story, there's a personal relationship. That's awesome too. You know what I mean? Like, the off the field presence, people coming up to us, you play for Fountain City, or noticing what our badge looks like, and saying, yeah,
Yeah.
we've been following you, whether they've been to the games or not. At some point they may end up coming. So no, fan support is amazing. And that's, I think, one thing that we've really tried to emphasize, because I think that's one thing where UPSL could really grow. The just having more fans, right? Because the level of play will be there. It's there. It's something to enjoy. So people really know that it's around, and know that there's quality play, and then also can create a relationship with players.
Mhm.
Um, it's just going to grow the league even more, and the league's already doing phenomenal. Every single year you're seeing more teams,
Yeah.
more exposure, better deals. Playing in bigger markets. So the league's doing phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, to be able to have that connection with a fan base, and just, again, to have them chanting for you and cheering for you, it's a great feeling. I mean, that's every schoolboy's dream.
Yeah, I mean, it's a unique sport too. I mean, we have things like the NFL. We have franchise type base sports,
Hmm.
NFL, NBA, MLB, in the sense where fans are in different states all over the place. But what's unique about the way the UPSL is structured much like a club team would be in Europe, because they focus on the local community and they want teams in every community.
Yeah, for
And so
sure.
you rally around your local club, that that old saying, the local club. And like you said, in Columbus there hasn't been something like this until now. And so now you're creating an interest and a relationship there that didn't exist, and that can
Exactly.
grow into something very, very special, to where it's going to be a historic type of existence for you guys going forward. So I mean, it really is a great thing for us at ASMG to be a part of that growth, to watch it grow. And that's what I like about being here, is you get to see that development, not only of players, but also the clubs that are involved, and then the fan base, watching the fan base grow. It's entertaining to me. So
Yeah.
we we look forward to covering you guys as you continue on in the season. And as I told Jose, we're going to spend a lot of time trying to cover you guys, as well as the rest of Division One, as well as the Premier Division, because they're all interrelated. And
Yeah,
so, they one supports the other.
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
But Tristan, I want to thank you for your time here today. And this won't be the only time here, but you're going to have a lot of eyes on you to see it. Can you get that golden boot? We'll see what happens.
We'll
You got a
see.
good
We'll
lead
see.
right now.
Uh, maybe so, but otherwise, Andre, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me and Jose, and even more so putting the spotlight on this team and on our community, and so that they can see what a beautiful thing we've got going on here. So it's just exciting all the way around. I mean, it just feeds my heart every single day to come out here and be a part of this team and just to be a part of this community. So I hope it continues to grow, and that we can have more conversations in the future.
Oh, you can count on that. It's been my pleasure. And we look forward to spending a little bit more time as the season goes on. So we'll be in touch.
Awesome. Sounds good. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too.